U.S. has deployed 6 B-2 bombers in the Indian Ocean island of Diego Garcia. This is 30% of its stealth bomber fleet.
In 15 years of flying the B-2, the only time I felt the B-2 shake is in the simulator. That's the only scenario where you will feel that shake. You never feel it otherwise.
The plane's left wing drops.
December 10th, 2022, Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, home to the U.S. Air Force's elite fleet of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. It's early morning, cold and quiet. A B-2 prepares for a routine training flight. The aircraft, nicknamed Spirit of Georgia, is one of only 20 in existence. A ghost in the sky, crafted for one purpose: to dominate. But within minutes of takeoff, something goes terribly wrong. Mid-air diagnostics report critical system faults. Indicators flash red. One by one, vital components begin to fail. The pilot makes the call: emergency landing. The B-2 circles back toward Whiteman, coming in low and slow. Ground crews prepare for impact. Then, boom! The bomber crash lands, skidding across the runway in a shower of sparks and fire. A massive plume of black smoke rises above the base. Emergency crews rush in, hoses blasting, sirens screaming. Miraculously, the crew survives. But the aircraft? Totaled. This wasn't just any crash. This was one of the most expensive aviation losses in U.S. history, and the fallout would reach far beyond the tarmac. To understand the true gravity of what happened that day, you need to understand what the B-2 Spirit really is. With its sleek flying wing design and radar-absorbing coating, the B-2 isn't just a bomber, it's a ghost built for nuclear war. Designed during the Cold War and first flown in the late 1980s, the B-2 was meant to infiltrate the most heavily defended airspaces on Earth and deliver payloads, nuclear or conventional, with precision and invisibility. The aircraft's silhouette looks like it belongs in science fiction. It lacks vertical stabilizers, which gives it a distinct radar signature, or more accurately, a lack of one. Radar waves bounce off its curved edges and never return to their source. It can evade detection by enemy radars, fly over 6,000 miles without refueling, and carry 40,000 pounds of ordnance. Cost per unit? Over $2 billion. That's more than most warships. Only 21 were ever built. And with just a handful still flight-ready, each one is as much a national treasure as it is a weapon of war. So when one crashes, it's not just an accident. It's a potential intelligence leak, a public relations nightmare, and a blow to American deterrence. Initial reports blamed a failure in the in-flight control system, a crucial component on a bomber with no vertical stabilizers. But the real story was much more complex. A chain reaction of mechanical failures triggered the crash. The left main gear actuator, a component within the landing gear's hydraulic system, malfunctioned just as the B-2 approached the runway. That failure led to the gear collapsing, which caused the wing to slam into the ground. Sparks flew. A fuel line was torn open. Flames erupted beneath the stealth-coated body. And here's where it gets even more alarming. The stealth coating itself, made from classified radar-absorbing materials, is highly sensitive to temperature and pressure. Once ignited, it releases toxic fumes and becomes dangerously unstable. Emergency crews had to fight not just fire, but a chemical hazard. Containment zones were set up. Local air traffic was rerouted. For hours, Whiteman was sealed off. But here's what wasn't in the official Air Force press release. These stealth bombers, despite their futuristic design, rely on aging technology. Many of their components were hand-assembled. Every stealth coating application is still performed manually. Their internal software systems, though updated, run on architecture designed decades ago. These jets require nearly 120 hours of maintenance for every 1 hour of flight. Even with meticulous upkeep, the smallest error, a miscalibrated valve, a delayed sensor reading, a hydraulic leak, can lead to catastrophe. That's the reality of maintaining bleeding-edge technology long past its original lifespan. The crash came at a dangerous time. In late 2022, tensions were spiking globally. China was expanding its air defense networks across the South China Sea. Russia was deep into its invasion of Ukraine, showcasing advanced hypersonic weapons. The U.S. was increasingly relying on stealth technology to maintain deterrence without sparking escalation. And then, one of America's crown jewels slams into a runway at home. The implications? Massive. The B-2 is not just an asset, it's a signal, a deterrent. Its very existence sends a message. We can strike anywhere, and you won't even see us coming. A crash disrupts that message. It raises questions abroad. Are America's stealth bombers really invincible? Are they even reliable? In response, the Pentagon acted fast. Within 24 hours, satellite imagery of Whiteman showed camouflage netting covering the wreckage. Within 72 hours, the airfield was on lockdown. Classified cleanup teams arrived. The jet was stripped, piece by piece, under armed guard. Local officials were given vague statements about a training incident. But behind the scenes, a massive damage control operation was underway. The biggest concern? That adversaries might get even a fragment of stealth material or sensor tech. Even a charred circuit board from the B-2 could offer critical insights into U.S. stealth capabilities. Everything had to be recovered. Everything. Following the incident, the entire B-2 fleet was grounded. Every aircraft underwent full systems diagnostics. Maintenance crews worked around the clock. Training protocols were overhauled. Pilots were retrained on emergency procedures, including low-gear scenarios and asymmetrical landings. Engineers pored over landing gear schematics, updating stress models, and actuator redundancies. Insiders say the crash triggered a complete overhaul of predictive failure systems. New diagnostic software was rolled out within weeks, with a focus on real-time data analysis and mid-air rerouting logic to anticipate mechanical problems before they occur. But it still raised a larger question. How long can the Air Force keep flying billion-dollar aircraft that can't land without risking total destruction? Which brings us to the next chapter, the B-21 Raider. Unveiled to the public in late 2022, the Raider is being called the future of American air power. Built with lessons learned from the B-2, it's designed for easier maintenance, lower costs, and higher survivability in contested environments. It features modular components, cloud-connected diagnostic systems, and the ability to receive software upgrades mid-service. It's sleeker, smarter, and, if all goes as planned, significantly cheaper. But it's not here yet. Initial flight testing only began in 2023. Full operational deployment could take years, so until then, the U.S. must rely on the remaining B-2s, each one a fragile relic of Cold War ambition flying into a 21st century battlefield. And here's something else to think about. This isn't the first time a B-2 has crashed. In 2008, another B-2, the Spirit of Kansas, crashed shortly after takeoff in Guam due to a sensor malfunction. That incident led to sweeping changes in cockpit interface design and sensor calibration protocols. But clearly, issues remain. The 2022 crash was different. It wasn't an exotic sensor glitch or a rare atmospheric anomaly. It was a mechanical failure, something that, on a traditional aircraft, might have been survivable. But on a $2 billion ghost plane, catastrophic. In a world where warfare is increasingly digital, with drones, hypersonics, and space-based surveillance, the crash of a stealth bomber may seem like a relic of the past. But it's not. It's a warning. Because even the most advanced systems have breaking points. Even the most invincible-looking platforms can be grounded by a $10 valve failure. And as America prepares for a potential conflict in the Pacific or Europe, every piece of its arsenal must work flawlessly, or risk becoming a liability. In the end, the B-2 crash wasn't just an accident. It was a wake-up call for engineers, for commanders, for strategists. No aircraft is invincible, not even the $2 billion stealth bomber. Let us know in the comments, do you think the U.S. should retire the B-2 fleet early or keep flying these iconic machines until the B-21 takes their place? If you want more real-time breakdowns of modern military power, be sure to subscribe. And as always, stay sharp, stay informed. This is Beyond Military.